Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I, the pure consciousness, or the sense of self-awareness, would manifest the words of truth and the words of wisdom through his finite mind and through his finite body. I, the pure consciousness, or the sense of self-awareness, would manifest the words of truth and the words of wisdom through his finite mind and through his finite body. Blessings be on the listener, whether it's a herself or himself. Have you learned to sit yet? I'm asking you a question which is very easy, that have you learned to sit? You see, attentive as humanly can. I understand we have some physical conditions because we all have physicality. How we have physicality, we are not the physicality. Mind you, I didn't say that we are the physicality. I said we have the physicality. Means physicality is our projection, or physicality is the projection of the sense of self-awareness and the pure consciousness. So have you learned to sit? So when you start listening to my videos, or when I deliver a message, I always encourage you to choose a super silent corner, maybe in your room, and first sit for some time, maybe facing a wall which has no graffiti or any type of picture or any words written on it, and just look at the wall and pay attention to your breathing pattern. Pay attention to your breathing pattern, that you are breathing in, then you are breathing out. You don't have to pay attention to what happens afterwards, to the breath you exhale, but just pay attention on the tip of your nose where you are breathing in and you are breathing out, and you rest your hand on your knees and you sit attentive before you start hearing or listening to my video or the message I deliver. And just, it would help you after 10-15 minutes of this practice, it would help you to silence. You see, silent, it would help you to silence your mind. Someone has someone has inquired about a reincarnation. That what is a reincarnation? Someone has inquired about reincarnation. As every one of us knows, that reincarnation is also a widespread term, and they even reincarnation is a widespread term, and they even have made the movies on reincarnation, that they actually have made movies, and the movies are on Netflix and on other type of movie websites about the reincarnation, and the term itself is extremely widespread term, reincarnation. So but when we look together, as I have mentioned in numerous messages before, and I am mentioning right now, that when we look together, it means me and you together. It definitely means that we look into it very profoundly. You are the listener here, as I always mention in the beginning of my video, that you are the listener. You listen. You do not accept or discard. You are just open to it. Hence, if it has any shred of wisdom, it would resonate through you automatically. It's just natural if you are receptive. In other words, when you don't discard or accept anything, you become receptive, and it's only natural for the truth to resonate through you. That's number one. So as I said, somebody inquired about reincarnation. They have made movies. It's a widespread term, reincarnation. They of course have heard the word reincarnation. They have heard the interpretation of reincarnation. Even the word was reincarnation is basically, the word reincarnation is indicates to something which is literally a natural course of life, according to how I perceive it. Even in India, the concept, let's look into it now. We are now looking profoundly into it. The concept of reincarnation was first, or came into being, the concept of reincarnation came into being by a series of spiritual practices back in ancient India, when the rishis, the sages, the wise men back in ancient India, they never looked outwards. They always looked inwards, because they were phenomenal and remarkable beings. You see, mind you, I didn't even call them human beings. I said they were remarkable and brilliant beings, and their focus was unshakable. So they always turned their attention inwards. They never looked outwards, whether for concrete peace or any number of things. First of all, they inquired about themselves, that what they are, and hence started a series of spiritual practices, and the emphasis, or the focus, the point of focus was inwards, not outwards. That's why whenever my Facebook profile is active, whenever my Facebook profile is active, I remember distinctively that on the banner photo of, or the cover photo of my profile, there are some old yogis and sages sitting, maybe in a band of 3 or 4 people sitting, and the caption on that cover photo is, Indians are the only people on the face of this planet Earth led by their own consciousness or self-awareness. That's why yoga and meditation also originated from India. However, this topic is not about that. This topic is to answer the inquiry you have made, that what is reincarnation. So reincarnation indicates a concept basically after one leaves the body. You see, mind you, I never said that after one dies, because death is a tremendous lie. There is no such thing as death. There is just life. On this infinite life energy, basically, on this infinite life energy, there are knots of birth and bodily demise. The knots on this life energy which is happening overall, there are knots of birth. Please watch my words, or pay attention. The knots are birth and bodily demise. So what stays between birth and bodily demise we understand as reincarnation. So the definition of reincarnation is, first we are telling the definition, then we'll look at the definition through different point of views, and very closely and very, very, very profoundly, so there remains no confusion in your awareness. So between the knots of birth and bodily demise, what remains is a reincarnation. Reincarnation means a life energy is taking another form to shed the karma or to process it till it refines. After that, there remains no life energy. The life energy has gone completely dissipated, and the person or the being cannot exist as a separate self or a separate being. It is what we also understand, that the dissolving of karma completely. You see, so the definition of reincarnation is that life is going through process to shed the karma. After that, when all the karma is shed, it cannot give birth to life now. You understand what I'm saying? Now there remains only the infinite field of consciousness, or the sense of self-awareness. That's all that there is. You see what I am saying? I would tell you that the infinite field of consciousness, or the infinite field of self-awareness, or how it is without a body. So of course, when I deliver a message here, and when I speak with you, I always remind you that these things are not yet in your experience. So you have two choices, whether you can accept it as it is told, or you can discard it. However, there is a third option here for you. You just remain open. I actually used to volunteer myself for a very brief period of time when we were living up north in the state of Washington, for an organization who compiles the surveys of near-death experiencer. You see, you have heard the term of near-death experience. Near-death experience is the term which was first used by Dr. Raymond A. Moody, to whom I was in direct contact for a very small period of time. And he wrote the first book in 1975. It's called Life After Life. When the book was released, it was a breakthrough. Anyway, so when I volunteered for this website and I spoke with the people over the phone, or a couple of times even in person, the one who had brushed with death. Death means, if according to the medical science, if you look A person is considered dead when there is no vital signs, means the person is not breathing, there is no heartbeat, and there is no brain function. You see what I'm saying? Or there is no pulse. So the vital signs are gone and the person is considered dead, of course. There are people who had the brush with death for very brief period of time and they came back. I would not go into a lot of detail, otherwise this message would take hours, and since I'm going to start working again over on the weekend, so today is the convenient time for me to answer what is reincarnation. Okay, so I actually met a person and we had this conversation, and I spoke with him and I asked him the question. So what happened is, he said that when I lost the awareness of my body, and I never lost the awareness of myself. You see, these are two separate things. That's the evidence right there. However, I'm not asking you to take on his words, of course, but we can listen to it. He said, when I lost the awareness of my body, but I never lost the awareness of myself. I was very much myself and I was aware, and I was, as soon as I left or I lost the sense of my body, I was in a place where there was no place, actually. He said that I could totally see and sense everything. I was in a place where there was no place and there was no up and down. It means there were no dimension. It also it also means there was no concept of time. Time is a marker, and he said that it was the darkness. I am understanding every word what he was telling me, because my dedication to my spiritual practices, and I find it to be true. However, I don't expect you to comprehend everything what he mentioned. You understand what I'm saying? I don't expect, but you can listen. Anyhow, I fully understood what he was telling. Every single word I understood that what he was saying or what he was telling us or telling me. So he said that I was in a place where there was no place, there was no up and down, left or right. Because up and down, left or right, when you have physicality, that's 3 dimension. When you don't have physicality, you don't have up and downs or time. You see what I'm saying? I hope you understand what I'm saying. I truly do. It's important for you to understand. It's very significant. Anyway, and he said that it was just a blank. I wouldn't even call it. It was like nothingness. I mean, he said that I was in a place where there was no place, and it was nothingness, and it was very expensive. You see, very expensive. It was very. It went on to eternity. And I was in that place. As a matter of fact, let me elaborate what he said. What he said, he was in that place because he just left the body. So the residue still remains. However, it's not that he was in that place. He was the place. You understand what I'm saying or no? If you ever have questions, you can write me, like these people who want to remain because they are shy, want to remain anonymous, and I respect that. So of course I never mentions any name or anything like that, neither it is important. But you can write me and I can answer your inquiry without mention any name, because people are shy, they have their own set of mind, which is fine with me. So he said that it was very expensive. It went on eternity. It's not that he was in a place. It's basically he was the place. It was him. And then he also mentioned that yes, I had also, I never felt that I was dead. He told me that he never felt that he was dead or he had died, basically. He felt that this is home and this is where I come from. If you are understanding what I am saying, he said this is home and this is I come from. He never felt that he had passed on or he had died, but he said this is home and this is where I come from. And the feelings of being there, of course, are phenomenal. But the reason I mentioned this small segment is because I wanted to give you a glimpse that, of course, when we leave our body, so these may be the things without the body a person feels. You see, without the body, when there is no physicality. However, the topic is reincarnation and the inquiry is reincarnation. The what is reincarnation? I have explained the definition earlier if you were paying attention, but we are going to look into it profoundly. So, the brilliant mystic and the true mystic, as a matter of fact. The true mystic and the brilliant philosopher Krishnamurti or Jiddu Krishnamurti, somebody asked him what it is which survives after the bodily demise or death. And Krishnamurti answered basically, I want you to pay attention to his answer to this person. That this person always looked at everything very practical, not fanatic, or through the words of Sanskrit, or so he looked at life very, very, very practical. So Krishnamurti's answer to this person was that isn't it far more important what's happening right now? Isn't it? That's a very practical answer. This person was asking what survives after we die, and to respond to that person, Krishnamurti mentioned or responded, isn't it far more important that's what's happening right now? Why are you so concerned? Why are you so concerned that what's going to happen after we die? Isn't it far more important than what's happening right now? And then he further went to answer his inquiry, this fella. He said, please understand that your mind is not solely your mind. Your mind is the mind of all humanity. You understand? That's why he said that he never read a book. He only read people and focused on how they function, and because he was a brilliant mystic and a philosopher. And I have not seen a person like him, whatever the life I have spent. His focus, his personality, and his energy. And so he said that first of all, please understand that your mind is not your mind personally, is the mind of all humanity. You understand what he said? He said it's the mind of all humanity. It's the mind of all humanity. It's not your personal mind. The personal mind is the mind which is not demented. The personal mind is the mind which is not fragmented. There is only one mind, which he actually was referring what we understand as pure consciousness. Okay, but what the mind he referred, the mind of all humanity, is, it means karma. So he said that mind, the liking, disliking, the dualities you create every day, and the drama you create, and the fuzz you make, and the place and the disliking in you, your intellect, that is something which survives after the bodily demise, which is a brilliant answer. Just a different way to look at the same thing. Now, somebody asked Swami Yoga Ananda, what are your thoughts on reincarnation? So first we look at this through the eyes of a mystic, and now we are looking at it through the eyes of a brilliant yogi, a remarkable yogi, Swami Yoga Ananda. So somebody asked Swami Yoga Ananda that what it is, basically, the reincarnation. What is reincarnation? Of course, as I said, the reincarnation is a widespread term, and there are different, everybody talks about reincarnation, whether they believe it or they don't believe it, whatsoever. So back in years, Swami Yogananda was long time ago, and he passed on here. He passed away here in America. Anyway, he was a remarkable yogi, and his contribution to humanity is tremendous. His contribution to humanity is a treasure and a gem. And somebody asked him what is reincarnation. So he was answering to this person. It's something that I have mentioned before in one of my messages, but this time I'm going to elaborate or look into it a little more profoundly. But I have mentioned that. He said, you see, you just don't turn into an angel merely by dying. You see, you just do not turn into an angel merely by dying. You see, if you live your life with the he said, if you live your life with negative traits, such as you gossip, or such as you are a thief, if you are a selfish person, you only care about yourself and nobody else, and you are the person who doubts in yourself, or you are the person who creates drama and creates distinction among humans, and you are the person who gossips. You are the person who, what you call it, the partition, who does the partition in humanity and in creation. If you are the person who is who does the discrimination among humans, if you are the person who does not have one eye for the entire creation and all humanity, you do not suddenly turn into an angel just merely by dying, because you are made out of energy. Energy never dies. Your body would die, everything remains the same, you just lose the body. Now you are even more vulnerable after, if you have led your entire life like that, because all these habits have a memory which is imprinted on the energy, which we understand as karma. You see, so you don't suddenly turn into an angel merely by dying, but it imprints on your karma. You just lose the body. There is no body now, but nothing changes. And when you come back, you see, this is the part that I didn't mention before. He said, when you come back, you bring all this with you. That's you. Are you paying attention now? This is about reincarnation. And he said that when you come back, you bring all that with you, and then you live again. You see, with all that, till you shed all that which you have gathered. And that's why there is reincarnation. So this is also a brilliant answer. What happens is, basically, however you live your life, however you live your life, however, no matter how you live your life, whether you are living your life with the positive traits or you are living your life with the negative traits, based on that, how you are living your life is basically everything. Every action, it imprints on your karma. Every action imprints on the energy in form of karma. So when one leaves, now I am answering your inquiry about reincarnation. So when one leaves the body, when that happens, uh, that karmic memory which is imprinted on the energy, which is what you essentially are. The person would progress by those tendencies as soon as the person leave the body. Now I am basically, you need to follow my words and you need to pay attention, because now I am answering your inquiry, what is a reincarnation. So however you actually led your life, or you are leading your life in this moment in time, whatever you are gathering, whatever you are putting around, and whatever is being answered in the response, what you are putting around, everything is being imprinted on you in form of karma. So when one leaves the body, and of course we all have to go through with that process, now such a person would progress by their tendencies. The energy is very much alive, and all, however you led your life, is imprinted on the energy in form of karma. That which is imprinted on the energy in form of karma would generate another experience. You understand? This is reincarnation. So it's not something that would happen and would leave you in some type of altered state, or it is not something fictional. It only makes sense if you pay attention to what I am saying to you. It would only make sense to you that your action, whatever the action we have performed or we are performing right now in this moment in time, and whatever the action we are performing is being imprinted or in form of karma on us, which is essentially energy. So it's very legitimate to say that right now whatever the action, right now whatever the action we are performing is basically we are working towards our next life. You understand what I'm saying? Are you following me? I want your focus intact here. It's very important for you to remember, and it's very important for you to understand what I'm saying to you. Whatever the action we are performing right now in this moment in time, or whatever the action we are performing in this lifetime, is basically already is giving birth to the next life, because it's not the life after life. These are just the fancy terms. What's happening, please know, what's happening on a very fundamental level. This is something you must understand. The energy is trying to subside. Energy is trying to get rid of any traits on it. It's simple. It's very simple. You don't need fancy words or fancy term. That's why it becomes either fictional or superstitious in people's mind, and they don't understand because they think it's something fictional or something superstitious. It's not. It's very simple. It's energy, and it's basically processing itself and trying to get rid of the residue. You see, that's all it is happening. So it's very legitimate. Whatever we are putting in right now is giving. So whatever the action we are performing, I'm basically narrowing or summing up right now. Shh. Because if you hear clock is ticking, so meditation session is coming close now. You see why I'm saying meditation session for me is going to get close. So I am zeroing in. So whatever the actions we are performing right now or in this lifetime, everything in form of karma is being imprinted on what we essentially are, which is energy. Okay, what happens is when we leave the body, we actually progress through those tendencies or the karmic memory, or what you understand as karma. Based on that karma or those tendencies or those adjectives, another experience is generated. You understand what I'm saying? Another experience is generated. The entire experience is generated. The experience is generated based on the karma, and that becomes your next life. You see, that's what you understand as reincarnation. There is nothing superstitious or fictional about it. It's a rational process of life getting rid of the residue and all that, because it's an energy. So another experience is generated. That is the next life. And then in that life, whatever you gather or whatever you shed, based on that, there would another experience would be generated. So the more you have to get rid of the more we have to get rid of the residue which is imprinted on the energy in form of karma, the more lifetimes would there be, because the sole purpose of life is to find happiness, and the sole purpose of life is to get rid of the karma. It's the same thing, it just depends how you look at it. You understand? So this is what reincarnation is. That whatever we are doing in this moment in time and how we are carrying our energy, you see, it's being imprinted on the energy in form of karma. And after this bodily demise here, when this body is shed, what happens, that another experience is generated where it left off. You see, where it left off. When this body, this finite body which we all have, when this is shed, the residue in form of karmic memory remains on us, and then another experience is generated, basically based on that karmic memory or based on that karma. And other experience is generated based on that. And that's what we understand. And a body is found. That karmic memory or karma on the energy which is imprinted would find another body. You understand? Excuse me. It would find another body. You see, it would just keep finding body after body based on the karma. The purpose of human life, as I said, is to shed karma, because the more karma is shed, the less lifetimes there are. The less lifetimes there are, the more we are getting closer to moksha or mukti, which means the end of delusion. So this is what we understand Maya, experience, or the delusion. Moksha means the end of delusion. Now there is no delusion. There is just infinite field of awareness, or there is just infinite field of consciousness. You see, it's very simple. People struggle with the concept of reincarnation, but when we explain things so simple as I just did, and you know it, it becomes very easier to understand the what's happening. And that's, of course, that's my job, and that's why I'm here always for you. So if you have any questions to what I have explained to you, if you have any inquiry, you can still ask me. If I left something out, or if I mentioned it but you are still a little perplexed, you can write me and I can clarify it more. However, I think I have clarified it in a way that you totally understand and comprehend what is reincarnation. So the karma or the memory which is imprinted on energy would find another body. Remember that. Based on what kind of energy, what kind of karmic memory it has on energy, it would always find another body. As soon as it would find the body, an experience would be generated. Now you are again in physicality. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? These words are absolute wisdom that I am sharing with you, and I'm trying to show you what's running behind the screen. It means I'm trying to show you that what's the operating system which is controlling everything, every software in the computer. So that's running in the background. You see the operating system. That's what I'm trying to show you. Based on the karmic memory or based on the karma, it would find another body. As soon as it would find another body, an experience would be generated. You see, as soon as it would find another body, another experience would be generated. That another body and that experience, if you want to, you can just go right ahead and call it reincarnation. But anyway, it's just these words, as I said, as we all sages say to you, all the humans, we all yogis tell you humans, and I'm not saying it with any arrogance, but it is what it is, and it's a reality. As we always tell you humans that please understand, no word, please know that no word in reality has any meanings. But if you understand just what basically in the word, or what we understand what's in the word, what the word indicates, or what the word points out, if you understand the entire process, there remains no fiction, there remains no superstition, there remains none of that. You understand, everything is so simple and easy to understand. There is nothing fictional happening. It only makes sense. It only is justified. It's energy. Is working itself, it's processing itself to shed the residue that it has gathered. As when all the residue is gathered, there is no more birth or bodily demise. You see, there is no more reincarnation. Now we all are outside of the birth and bodily demise. You see, we are outside of that. Then there remains only just infinite field of self-awareness and infinite field of consciousness. That's all that remains then. You see what I'm saying? So this is what a reincarnation. You see, memory, that what based on our actions, the habits we have created, all that we have formed, how we carry ourselves, what we think in our mind about ourselves and about other people. Not only we are verbalizing it or doing it through our actions, but our intention is, what is inside us, in our heart, basically, what is the intention, that's what matters. And then it imprints on the energy. And as long as there's something which imprints on the energy, there is reincarnation. Because then, based on what is imprinted on the energy, and other experience would generate, and it would find another body. As soon as it finds the body, an experience is generated. You understand what I'm saying? And that is what we understand as reincarnation. I mentioned a name of a person, a brilliant philosopher and a brilliant yogi, Gaudapada. You see, Gaudapada's work in non-duality, which is what I perceive as truth. In non-duality, the work of Gaudapada is brilliant. And Gaudapada rather took a fanatic approach towards non-duality. However, one of his many teachings that I was going through other day while in a deep state of meditation, I had the awareness that he expressed at some point back in ancient India numerous centuries ago that there is no such thing as the world, or there is no such thing as what you understand, the galaxy or the different planets. There is just experience. That's what he mentioned, basically. And if you look at what the knowledge I have given you, or the awareness about reincarnation, it would only make sense. He says there is just the experience. It just seems like it when you are in physical body. So these things are brilliant. Sometimes people, text me or email me, and they said to me, and they say to me, and they mention to me that how much do you really know, or how do you even know all this? You see, all these type of inquiries I hear time to time. So the reason I know all this, that I have made myself receptive, it brings a lot of advantages. One of the main advantages, when it's my time basically for my bodily demise, I'm not gonna freak out, because if I freak out, the shock would come, and it's not a good thing at all. You understand? So when that time comes, it's very significant for me not to freak out. Otherwise, shock would come, which is not a good thing, as I said. But if I don't freak out, that's one of the main reasons. The main reason is to shed my karma and to achieve mukti. And that's why I have dedicated myself to the spiritual practice. So I am involved in everything. I am involved with work, and I am involved with life and the family and the friends. I am involved with you. It's just that when you understand really what's going on, you see, through your spiritual practice, through Kriya, Yoga and meditation, when you make some time solely for yourself every day, then you understand what's going on. Then you know what's going on. Then life becomes very easy. You seem like that you are not even putting any efforts, and you are living.